and welcome to our live show here at BeBaby. Happy Tuesday. I hope your week is starting off good. I know for many of you, it's a snow day, which means you're working from home or you have a day off because your kids aren't in daycare or aren't going to school. I hope it's good news for you and it didn't put you in too much of a bind this morning. Today, I'm taking just a few short moments to have Vanessa Letuve come onto our live to talk about her experience with BeBaby. She actually reached out to BeBaby almost 2 years ago, or actually more than 2 years ago, when she was pregnant with her first. And she is here today to talk about her experience. Hi, Vanessa.
Hi, everyone.
How are you doing today?
Good. It's a snow day for everyone. Not that that really affects me, but I just got back from running a bunch of errands and there's just a lot of snow out there.
Which is kind of different from the rest of like the beginning of our winter that's been so weird so far. I don't know about you guys where you are, but here, like, yes, there is snow, but there's just, I mean, I think I've had to plow snow twice or 3 times this year at most.
Oh no, I've definitely run out of gas in my snowblower tank a few times already. Yeah. And we apparently have quite a bit more on the way. I think we must have gotten a good 15 centimeters overnight. So it
Yeah.
came down pretty quick.
It's still coming. Well, now there's a short break where it's not coming out anymore, but I know more is to come. So I wanted to maybe first ask you how you came to actually come to BeBaby in the first place.
You were mentioning in the opening that it's been like over 2 years since I originally contacted you. I think how that occurred is that I had asked a question on one of the mummy groups, and you had reached out to me privately just because my question was a little bit different. And that's sort of how everything just started happening. The interaction back and forth, the level of knowledge that you seem to have back then, so you can imagine today, just really drew me in. And I was like, I don't know who this person is, but she needs to be my friend. And that's and so I started just kind of keeping an eye out and following BeBaby on Facebook, and not too active, obviously, but you know, every time it would pop up on my news feed, and I always thought it was really pertinent information. And then it must be a few months ago now that there was something popped up, thank you algorithms of Facebook, about sleep. And we had been through, I can't really say an ordeal because that minimizes perhaps what other people go through. And I know that our situation is nothing compared to other deprived sleep mums and everything. But I still felt we could do better. And this sleep situation came up, and I figured, you know what? I'm going to ask. And I did. And it was just, like they say in French, de fil en aiguille. We just sort of hooked up and had a call and signed the paperwork and made magic happen. And I think the first post that I ended up doing after that was having slept a 92% quality night. I was like blown away. So it was, yeah, that's sort of the short version of the the BeBaby experience that I had.
I remember seeing this a few short days after you had joined BeBaby, and you posted on, you had like this smartwatch, I guess, or something to track your sleep, and you posted online like, this is the first time this has happened since I was pregnant that I have had a good, full, restful night of sleep. So it worked out clearly very well for you.
It did.
And tell me maybe like, how was the process for you from the moment like that you signed the paperwork to the end of you're actually ending your program right about now? But how was the process for you? How was the care and the experience overall?
I was already sort of hooked on you, I'll be honest. So I feel like that adds to the simplicity of the process that we had together. Everything was very natural. It was never scripted. It was never, let me check into my notes. Where's your child at? Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah. And is he doing that? It was never like that. It was just like, okay, so what's going on? How's that making you feel? How do you want to direct the situation? So I always felt very much empowered to the bottom line, whatever is suggested. It's still my choice as a mom to make that decision for me, my child, and my family. So I thought that that was a very organic way to go about things. And I'll be honest, like I had looked at a couple other sleep programs. I never really dug deep. I saw some of the prices, and I just felt like I was sort of gonna sign on to be a part of the pack. And I didn't want to be a part of the pack. I didn't want to feel like I was cattle, I guess you could say, and just sort of moving through the motions. So from the get-go, our conversations were very fluid. The payment option, super easy, no glitch. We were working with a certain type of app. We had a couple glitches there, but we were super easy able to, bypass that and find other solutions. So everything really from start to finish felt very organic, felt very fluid, felt easy. Not that the work was easy, but it flowed.
The process flowed, yeah. And we used to use, for those who are watching, we used to use an app called Fizzy app for instant messaging with our members. But I guess a lot more people are using it now this year because of 2020. And I don't think it was made to support the amount of people that we care for. And so we actually recently moved, I think it was 3 weeks ago or something, to a much smoother communication app. But yeah, but we always made it work. And when you were deciding, that, okay, I would like to get some help with this sleep situation, and you were looking at other sleep consultants and us, what made you choose us? Like, what was the deciding factor? Because it clearly wasn't price. We aren't the lowest priced option out there. We aren't the most expensive one, but we aren't the lowest price. So what was the factor that made you choose us over another company or consultant?
For me, it's really the fact that I wasn't part of the bulk. That made a huge difference for me. And I think some of those first conversations that we had, where you sort of analyzed what kind of mom I wanted to be in my sleep experience with my child, made just such a huge difference. Like, I'll be honest, I looked at some of those other options, but I never dug deep into them to see, what is this about? Or, how is that first free consult going to go? Like, what is that going to, I didn't get into that. And it was really instinctual for me. Like, this feels good. I feel like I can get answers. I know that there's going to be a solution. This chick knows what she's talking about. Okay, let's go. And it was just that simple for me. And I know that, some people really analyze and try and figure out the best of, but as a mom, like, we have to come back to our instinct about what is best for us.
What feels
that will kind of go through to our children, I think, very strongly. So this for me was what I needed when I needed it. It flowed, it was organic. I didn't feel like I was, shoved into a category of like 9 or whatever. And that was good for me. That made me feel like I still have control over my decision. I still have control over my child's sleep. I'm just being given support, the right tools, because you don't have all the knowledge. You just don't. I mean, I've done it once, and you know what? I'll probably have to do it again with number 2 or 3 or 4. Like, it's always so much information, and you have that information. Like, I don't have the time to spend days and hours and weeks, and this isn't my full-time
Googling and this and that, and no, it's a lot. And I think, there's 3 pillars that we build our programs on. It's, first of all, education or information. I don't want you going on Google and getting completely confused and getting a nosebleed out of trying to figure out the solution. And then it's support, and it's long-term support. and it's easy access support that is so important. And then it's community, right? To have a group, a place that you can come. So in our private, Peace of Mind Parenting Facebook group, it's this place where you can come and you're like sharing in your journey with other moms. You have, mommy coffee dates in the evening, and you have our expert panel that's there to answer your questions. And it's everything that comes together. But one of the big things I'm a big pro on is human connection. Motherhood can be quite lonely when you're trying to figure out things on your own. And human connection, taking the time to get on a Zoom call, taking the time to pick up the phone, taking the time to answer messages, if that's your thing, to actually, when you're choosing a consultant, especially if you're going to be working like with us, long term for 12 months, for example, you need to have a connection with that person, right? So it has to come down to, do you feel like this person understands you? Do you feel like this person speaks a language that speaks to you, right? Are you in charge of this? Are you in control of this? And this person is there to assist you. And that's really how we base ourselves. Like, yeah, I could offer a program where I could come into your house for, 10 grand over 3 days and get your baby sleeping through the night. Of course I could. But that's not what I want to do, right? I want to empower moms to actually be able to do these things for themselves on their own terms, and in a way that works for them. So thank you for being with BeBaby and trusting BeBaby, after our initial conversation, 2.5 years ago. And since then, you've been in our birth workshops and our seminars and all that. Where do you see, from like, now that your child is sleeping well and all that's been done, do you see yourself sticking around with BeBaby for the longer run from here on out?
I think so. Honestly, like I said, I'm very instinctual, and some of those first interactions, I'm like, I need to be this girl's friend. So I'm definitely on board. And the sleep package that I chose, which I know is no longer offered because it was a specific package, was, a 3-month sort of blitz. We got to where we wanted to go. And I think you were mentioning that next level is going to be that 12-month package. I think that's going to be so beneficial because, again, we don't have all the answers. So at this point, like, regression or not, teething or not, potty training or not, suddenly something happens or not, I think it's going to be so worthwhile to continue having that support on a relationship that's already been built and has already had a specific outcome. So our initial conversation, but also, our sleep training relationship that we've been able to build. So yeah, why is it that we will spend so much in the restaurant, for example? Obviously, restaurants are closed, but I come from a hospitality industry, so I used to be a huge restaurant goer. Like, my SAQ bill is like $400 a shot. Obviously, pregnancy helped with that. But why is it that we will spend that? Why is it that we'll go see the chiro, who's like $55 for 20 minutes? Let's be honest. Why is it that we'll go see a massage therapist for $100 an hour? Why is it that we make those choices, but as moms, we don't choose to spend the money to sleep, choose to spend the money to have an amazing breastfeeding experience, choose to spend the money to have the village, the support, oh my God, I don't know what's going on. Oh my God, what is this skin condition? Okay, like, forget the mummy groups, forget Google, because that is going to drive you batshit crazy. Like, why is it that we don't do that for ourselves? And I've always been very pro breastfeeding, pro home birth, pro like organic raising your kids, not necessarily in the foods, but just really letting them explore. And I feel like it's still not the essence of our society in raising our children. Why is that? And it just baffles me. And why aren't we putting ourselves first? Like, we don't have all the answers. I look at the way my mom was raised, and she just made some drastic changes in raising me, and breastfeeding me for 4 years was a huge one. And she was constantly confronted by her family, by society, for making that choice. Why? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. So I think if we can kind of get back behind ourselves and really say, wait a minute, I think I can do this better. Where am I going to get that information? Where am I going to get that support? It shouldn't matter how much it costs. Like this is an investment for your child, for your family, for your sleep. Hello, you know? So
Well,
yeah, no, I'm on board. I'm sticking around. Sorry.
I think, it's definitely sometimes we have trouble spending on ourselves, but yet we'll spend on other things. But you have to look at it as in, becoming a parent is huge. Like it is this huge job, and transitioning to 2 kids is a huge job, and transitioning to 3, I mean, I've just been there. It is a huge job too, and it makes no sense that we wouldn't, like, if you have access to everything you could possibly need in one simple place, easy, fast, quick, supportive access. Why wouldn't you
Accurate
do
too.
that? Yeah,
Accurate.
safe
The
information.
amount of information that you have your fingers in, Sam, it blows my mind. Like there is an answer for everything. There's a solution for like I don't got that in my back pocket. I don't. And I don't want to.
You didn't need to. It's too much to carry.
Exactly. It's just, yeah. So yeah, why not? Why
It's,
not?
it just makes total sense. And like you said, it's an investment in your child. It's an investment in yourself. It's an investment in your family as a whole. And it's an investment in your marriage.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like if all these things are not working out and they're falling out of place, your marriage suffers, your family life suffers, everything, and your career will end up suffering, whatever that may be, or your transition into a stay-at-home mom, for example, if that's what you're doing, instead of being smooth and happy and wonderful, turns into this guilt-ridden, like it's just not an overall good experience. So it's this pathway that we bring you on, no matter where you're starting, to make sure that, the first 5 years of your parenting journey, instead of being this completely forgotten cloud of being stressed out and overwhelmed and confused, becomes the best years of your life where you have wonderful memories, right? That's what it should be. And for way too long, it's been the opposite. So our Peace of Mind parenting program that's coming out real soon, we already have people onboarding right now, is going to be the end to that, right? We have to stick together as moms and as parents, and just like, let's do it. And we have a lot of dads that are involved in our programs now, which is so awesome, because I mean, until this year, we really didn't have a lot of dads majorly involved in our programs, but now dads are really getting into it, and I think that's just awesome, because now it's the whole family, right, getting what they need out of it. So thank you for being with us, until now, and thank you for being with us in the future. I'm really happy. And I know there are some news that are coming out in the near future, so I won't break the news, but thank you so much, and I love you.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Keep doing an amazing job.
Thank you, and have a wonderful day, guys.